guess what kind of Asian I am? Don't do it. That feels racist. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm non-binary. 3 non-binary people are here as well. Listen, I didn't know that was an option when I was in high school because we didn't have Google yet. We had Ask Jeeves. Yeah, who said yes? Yeah. Wasn't gonna ask a robot butler what my gender was, right? Just assumed I was a trans man, you know? Like or more assumed I was a teenage white boy. Like I listened to like a lot of Papa Roach, Linkin Park, had a wallet with a chain on it. I was a giant fucking asshole. This is what I'm trying to say. I used to tie my boobs down, wear a fake beard, fuck a lot of bitches. Sometimes nice ladies, but mostly bitches, because you get what you give. It's The Secret. It's a book I never read, but I assume it's about my gender. Okay, cool. My parents are Muslim immigrants from Bangladesh, and they're just really cool with me, bringing girls home. They're like, we moved to Canada. This is what Canadians do. They're all lesbians with beards. You know, I'm just like... And during this time, I found out I was pansexual by mistake by tripping and falling onto a penis, you know? And I love saying pansexual over bisexual because I prefer that strangers think that I fuck pans. Over that I don't exist. Okay, it's a biphobia joke. Okay, cool. You got it. All right, yeah, no. So, like, yeah, my parents, like, every once in a while I'd bring a guy home. My dad would get super excited. He'd, like, knock on the door. He'd be like, Rush, what are you doing? I'd be like, Dad, I'm busy, because that's what I assumed a trans man sounded like, just like Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. So my dad would leave, and he'd come back, he'd knock on the door again, and he'd be like, do you want $20? So what I'm saying is every time I guy, my dad would slip a $20 bill under the door just to reaffirm that heteronormative activity was encouraged in the house. So if any of you gentlemen want to make $10, I still live with my dad. Okay. We just split the 20. It's basic math. Okay, I don't know what age group we have here, but like I'm turning 40 in June. I'm 39. I'm clinging to it with my whole life. Any elder queers here? That's what we are. We're geriatric now. You put your hand up. Your partner made you put your hand back down. Is it just you? Do you remember what it was like dating in the early 2000s as a queer person? Boom. Yes, but also no. Early 2000s. I'm talking about the early aughts. Okay? Like, I'm talking about, okay, like, remember, like, in the early 2000s, we didn't have Tinder, we didn't have Grindr, we didn't even have cable internet. We had dial-up internet. Yeah. Yeah, it took me 3 days to download a fake nude of Britney Spears. Like, by the time I got to her nipples, I'm like, these are not her breasts. But I've already masturbated 16 times anyway. So you print it out, you put in your duotang for later, you know, just 'cause porn was hard. Anyway, so like I met this girl online in a chat room. You guys remember chat rooms? Yeah, like ASL, age, sex, location. I'm just 17 in Rexdale, just hunting for a pussy, you know? And I'm talking to this girl on the phone because we had to describe ourselves to one another because we didn't have digital cameras. So I'm talking to her and she sounded like a Shanti. Right? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna Shanti, this is gonna be great. So what's your ethnic background, if you don't mind me asking? And she did not mind, because it was 2001. So she's like, I'm half Indian, half a Jamaican. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's what I assume Ashanti is. I don't have Google yet, you know? I'm like, what's your body like? She's like, I'm tall, fit, I have abs. I'm like, dope, all the things I'm not. I'm like, do you look like a celebrity so I can picture it in my mind's eye because we don't have cameras? And she's like, I do. My friends say I look a lot like Ja Rule. I'm like, you know what? That's the same let's go. So I lived in Rexdale. She lived in Scarborough. Do you guys know Toronto? Yeah. All right, that's 2 buses and a subway, right? So I'm like, you know what, that's a 3-hour transit. Let's meet in the middle. Let's go to Yorkdale Mall. You know? I'm gonna take you to the fanciest restaurant I can think of, baby. Let's go to Rainforest Cafe. Right? There's a store maybe 20 minutes. There's animatronic gorillas. Let's go. And so, like, I was a Chad back then, so I'm like, yeah, buy whatever you want, baby. I am paying. And she listened to my very explicit instructions and bought what she wanted. She got this thing called the cedar wood plank salmon, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a piece of fish on wood for $30, right? And for dessert, she got this thing called the volcano, which is 15 brownies on top of one another with whipped cream, ice cream, and sparklers on top. And the entire staff comes out screaming, volcano, 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 right? Because we needed more attention. Being an interracial queer couple with my beard falling off at the table. Anyway, I spent $70 on her that night. You guys are not reacting, $70. 2001. Inflation. That is $3 million of now money. Do we know what a tiger parent is? Yes, not everyone, 3 people. Okay, so for the rest of you, a tiger parent is an Asian parent that's really overbearing and expects a lot from their kids. Who let the donkey in? What's going on? You don't, what? Okay. I don't even know how to address that, because I'm like, Asian parents, that is an alpaca. Okay, that is not our culture. Okay, but yes, a tiger parent is an Asian parent that's really overbearing, expects a lot from their kids. Like my mom, nothing I ever did was on the right timeline for her. I remember before I got married, she'd always compare me to her friends' kids. She called me up once, she's like, Rush, when are you planning your wedding? Lily's daughter's getting married. I want to hold my grandchild. I was like, Mom, when are you planning your funeral? I want to own a house in Toronto. I realized that my favorite way to get rid of a conspiracy theorist is to one-up them, right? For example, if someone's like, the earth is flat, the proper response is, oh my God, you think we're on earth right now? This is obviously a simulation. We're in the Matrix. Or the pandemic was planned. Like, of course it was planned. How else are you going to change the batteries in the birds? Yeah, birdsaren'treal.com. That's a real fucking website. I did not make it up for the joke. It exists on its own. Or my favorite conspiracy theory is when someone's like, the moon landing was faked. This is when you gotta look someone dead ass in the eye and go, I'm sorry, are you one of those fuckers who believes in the moon? I know we're all laughing now, but I personally don't believe in the moon. I just think it's the back of the sun. Leaving now, I'm just gonna give you guys a piece of advice and then I'm gonna go. Are you okay with that? Yeah? You're just holding your hearts. That's so cute. I love you guys. Okay, all right, so did you know you could say no to a breakup? I know it's confusing. My advice comes in question format. That's so weird. No, okay, let me explain. I was dating this guy and he wanted to break up with me because I was cheating on him. On him. And I was like, no, thank you. And he's like, that's not how breakups work. I'm like, well, it's 2013. It takes 2 of us to consent. Get woke. And he's like, I don't think that's what woke means. I'm like, I'll give you $5 right now to He's like, you do not have $5, Rush. So I went to my wallet, produced a really sexy toonie. As I didn't have $5. He knew me really well. Anyway, I slid it over the table like this. It was the sex motion. It's like, right? And he thought it was really cute. He didn't break up with me, and that became our thing. Anytime I wanted to get laid, or anytime I wanted to prevent another breakup because I kept cheating on him, I smacked a toonie down. We'd go to town, right? And then one day he thought it'd be really cute to flip it on me. He's like, I made lobster, let's do this. And he threw a toonie down onto the coffee table, and I was so offended. Like, how dare you offer me money for sex, bro, right? No one pays me for sex unless it's my dad, you know? So for those of you who aren't laughing, I told a joke earlier about how my dad gives me my dad gives me $20 every time I have sex with anyone with a penis, you know? It's called a callback in comedy. So if you like comedy and you didn't know that term, I taught you something. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Also, kangaroos can't fart. Taught you two things. Anyway, I'm Rush Kazi. I have a special on Now TV, Amazon Prime. I have a show, Asian Comedy All Stars, this Saturday. Please come.
By the PrEP Clinic.